But it brought to mind a certain socialist councillor by the name of Florence Anderson, who 2 years ago pronounced that Thatcher would burn in hell, she said. That's the problem with socialists. They're not content with ordering our lives in the local town hall. They presume to play God and determine where people's souls are going to end up. Since her childhood, Margaret Thatcher was a committed Christian. She was a Methodist, you sensed, because God was a Methodist. She was a nonconformist revolutionary because Jesus was a nonconformist revolutionary. She spoke up for the ordinary man against the privileged elites because her saviour did precisely that. From Methodism, she learned her thrift, hard work, sobriety, economy, and patriotism. She learned that society exists, but it's made up of individuals who individually are accountable before God for their actions. These individuals make up families. Those families make up communities. That is the society she believed in. Her understanding of the Bible was quite straightforward. She had the view that certain parables in the New Testament, from the Good Samaritan or the woman who anoints Christ's feet, were only possible because they had common sense and money and used both wisely. To the Fabians, who insist that Jesus was a socialist, she would ask, how am I meant to give one of my coats to the poor if God hadn't given me the money and the nous to earn the money to own 2 coats in the first place? The Methodist became an Anglican, and we've seen that a few hours ago in St. Paul's. Margaret Thatcher's conservatism was Tory in its Burkean defence and deference of the great institutions of state, but thoroughly Whiggish and libertarian after John Stuart Mill in its iconicalism. She believed in the British Christian spirit. Her notion of morality was based on the opportunity of free choice. These values contrast starkly today with the values of the establishment elite, the meddlesome priests who were so troublesome to her in the 80s, the landowners, the university academics, especially at Oxford where I'm now based, the Foreign Office, and the paternalistic, corporatist, Europhile Tories whose Christian faith, as David Cameron once said, fades in and out like Magic FM in the Chilterns. Perhaps no Prime Minister since Gladstone has ever or would ever respond to a journalist that I am in politics because of the conflict between good and evil, and I believe that in the end, good will triumph. The lady wouldn't have cared about the petty-mindedness of people like Jon Snow, or the absurd rants of socialists like Florence Anderson, or even those today who rudely turned their back on her coffin or jeered her. In fact, she'd have rather relished it. She'd have been bothered about one thing and one alone, and that's as she approached the gates of heaven and stood before the throne of Christ, that she would wait for the Lamb's book of life to be opened. And when that book was opened, she would hear her record of achievement and the account of her life scrutinized and judged. And she would wait to hear God say, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant."